Yeah, it was a good workout.
All right, so I have this recording. I'm hoping that the audio comes in pretty good, and then hopefully that the slides are all presenting decently enough. And then I'll post it on YouTube for later viewings or whatever if anybody else wants to watch it. First off, just wanted to welcome everyone to this channel or this first board meeting on May 4th, and I'm excited to share all the slides with you guys. There's really only 3 or 4, so it's not like we'll be here all day. But it does have a lot of room for you guys to have some input, and I wanted to make sure that you guys felt that you could voice your opinion and we could talk about stuff. So without further ado, let me present my screen and then you guys can see it, hopefully. Okay, let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay, I can't see anybody's faces anymore on video, so like if I'll probably figure out a better way to have the recording, but at least the slides will be up, so that'll be good. It'll kind of be boring to look at the slides the whole time. I would have rather had our faces or something, but this will be kind of how we have to run it. All right, so obviously you guys know your business partners. Here's today's date, and I definitely welcomed you guys, so we got that part out of the way. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was personal ownership, though. I know that we do have a couple of silent business partners on the platform here or on our board, and they've specifically stated to me that they just want to put in some money and then see where it goes. But for the rest of us, the ones that have personal ownership or taking the initiative to kind of help push the business, which is what I'm hoping more people will want to do instead of being silent partners. The part I want to kind of ask you is how will you help you grow your business? And so I just kind of want to open that up to everybody and see if there's something that you want to bring to the table on the personal ownership side, or how we can help you grow your business a little bit more. Any thoughts?
I'll go first. I
Okay.
mean, uh, so my name's Zach Everett. I think everybody in here knows me. My name's Zach Everett. Been a part of the fitness real estate team for pretty much since its creation, a little bit after that. But I think this is going to be general, but maybe it'll drum up some other conversations. But I think just personally doing what we're doing, I know we've exponentially grown ridiculously fast, but just keep wearing our own brand, talk about our business, and just continue to grow it because I know this isn't the way you like to do things, TJ, but I like word of mouth because I think word of mouth is a little bit better advertising. It doesn't touch as many people, but I think it's a little bit better advertising when it's organic. And in this day and age of things moving so fast, so quick, organic growth is healthy growth. That's maybe not necessarily as easily measurable, but long story short, I think just talking about our business as much as we can within reason, right? And just continuing to grow the business as much as we can. That would be my opinion. And I know that's not necessarily personalized to me, but I try to talk about fitness realty and me being a real estate agent almost in every conversation I have. And in this market, it's easy. People want to talk to you about the market. So, my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And that's kind of why I wanted to prompt the question was just to see what each person can actually do on their own and try to internalize it, right? Because um, my mom and I, and then everybody on the staff has been growing our company like crazy, and now you guys have a piece of that, and so I wanted to really make sure that everybody felt like you could take ownership and then just roll this as big as you want to go. Okay, let's talk about. Oh, any other thoughts from anyone else?
I'll jump in if you can hear me. Okay.
What's up, Brandon?
Hey, good evening, everybody. So I'm probably maybe someone that no one else really knows besides TJ. My name's Brandon Feldman. I'm currently over in Virginia, but I left Utah last summer. TJ and I met last summer and through a mutual real estate investing community for active and/or retired military. And I will say that to answer your question specifically, TJ, one, I'm very happy and excited to be part of the Fitness Real Estate team. I am not a realtor just yet, but I do have plans to get into the real estate field. And what I'm most excited about is the prospect of becoming a franchise partner as well. So whether or not I can do that out here in Virginia or possibly my next station, that's what I'm looking to do, and as soon as possible as far as I'm concerned, but that could still be a couple years out for me specifically. But that's how I plan on growing my own business and, within the Fitness Real Estate team. So nice. I'll say that.
No, that's exceptional.
And it's, I hope to meet everybody virtually and or personally at some point. So it's good to be part of the team.
Nice. Well, welcome, of course. And I like your vision, and we've chatted about it before, and I think we can really kind of explode and push that. So I like your thoughts about that. All right. Anyone else? And then we'll move to price or the share price structure. Okay. Let me minimize this really fast. All right. So everyone has access to this share price structure sheet. Hopefully I've given everyone access, or if you don't have access, then I've sent you the link so that you can have access. So we did close it off February 28th or 29th, if it was leap year this year, I can't remember. Let's just call it the 28th. But I closed it off at the end of February, and then we weren't allowing any more people to come in and just buy shares for whatever price. And then I had a buddy come to me that I deployed with a couple times, and he was like, dude, let me in. And I said, all right, fine. And then I figured nobody would care that I didn't bring it to the board because it jumped everybody's share price or share count, I mean. And so I apologize for just jumping the gun and letting a buddy of mine in. However, I did give you the amount of shares that we had all talked about on how the growth was going to happen. So just real quick, I just put Q1 because that's the quarter that he bought in. And then this was the amount of money that he bought in with. And then I had to do a difference in the amount of cash that we had. So now there's an actual different column for cash. And then if any of this like cruises over your head, or you want to talk about it more off record or anything like that, just as a reminder, because this is getting recorded, then just bring it up to me anytime. But here's the difference of where we were at when I first gave you guys the share price, and then here's where we were sitting on cash account. So I put this difference in here so that we could get a new share price. And then he bought in, the buddy of mine bought in. So you can see he only bought 20 shares. So if you had, like Ashley's got 10 shares, so I gave you 10 more. Zach, you had 50, so I gave you full 20 because he bought in with 20. And then so on and so forth across the board. And here's my friend that did buy his 20. So we've already had one person buy in. We are attracting other people. I have several people that I've known before just in the military, and they said I didn't really get the word out that well, and I was like, yeah, I know. I kept it pretty close. So those people are wanting to get on board, and several of them have displayed the I guess their idea of what they would want to buy in at somewhere between 30 and 50 grand. There's one of my friends that is a little bit more than that, and so none of that's solidified or anything. When that actually becomes something that we'll talk about, it'll be in another board meeting just like this, and we'll all vote on it. So then you'll have vote counts that equal your share counts. Any questions about the share price sheet before we move on? I guess, or comments.
No.
Okay, let me make sure I hit all that. Okay, so I had two things to share on that: the future buy-in and new people, existing and family, because I've had lots of questions about that. So the future buy-in, and then in future investments for yourself or family or close friends or whoever you want to bring on board. Like I said, if they get excited and you want to bring them to the board, then we can address and look at what they are bringing, either talent-wise, capital-wise, or any of that size or opportunity. In my opinion, the biggest factor right now is the capital. So, I mean, obviously we don't really need any influencers or anything at this point. We're looking for more capital to push the bar and get our first cash flowing asset, which I'll touch on here in a minute. But let's say you see more investment opportunity with us, you can definitely come in and just buy in just like everybody else would. So if you're sitting on extra capital, or you're saying, I really want to help promote Fitness Realty and move this bar, you can definitely bring it to the board and say, hey, I have another 30 grand or whatever. You may want to sit around and wait until you see the first cash flow asset and then maybe buy in. That's up to you if you want to have that opportunity. So you just have to kind of think about that. So the question with the family comes because obviously me and my mom have a enormous share of the company, and then we have family members that we've maybe thought about bringing on board. If we're going to think about bringing that family member on board, we're going to bring it to the board so you guys can vote on that. So it's not like me trying to like funnel somebody down everybody's throats other than my friend. So like I said, I apologize about that. All right, any thoughts on that before we move on from the share price structure? I'll take silence as a no.
We're good. Sorry.
Let's keep it moving.
You're good. Yeah, no worries. Okay, I closed the share price down. Okay, moving on. Heads up for officer details. Oh, drats, I needed that actually. Sorry, hold on one more. Let me bring that up. I forgot there was one more piece of that I needed to show you. All right. So currently we have listed on the C Corp, I have me and my mom as directors, and then we had to have somebody sitting in the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. Those are positions that we're going to fill, or somebody else is going to be named in there eventually. If that seems like you want to be that title, or you have inklings that'll help you feel more motivated about it, whatever the case is, just let me know, and then we'll probably put together a voting roster or something later on and move some other people into these other named titles, and then we can just take more ownership of the company. And then this last tab will have the corporate meeting. So after today, I'll list like the YouTube link right here, so that you can go back and rewatch it if you ever need to just see something on there. Okay, I think that's it on that one. Okay, we do have a dividend payout that we'll talk about. Not that we're getting ready to do a dividend, but the floor is kind of open to see what we want to do later on. In my opinion, where we're really small, it would be nice to just grow as rapidly as we can. Let's say for the first 3 to 5 years, and grow as much cash and capital we can sit on, and then maybe on year 5 start trying to do a dividend payout. So if you think we should do a dividend at the end of the year, when we look at that payout possibility, then we'll kind of bring it up then. But before we get to that part, I'll need a 1099 for everyone so that we can pay out a dividend if we're going to. So that if it's not this year, then we won't need 1099s for anybody. But if we do one, then just realize I'll reach out to you, each and every one of you offline, and get a 1099 filled out for you, either your business or your personal social security number, and that's kind of how that'll work. Any thoughts or any additions to dividend payout, or anything you see differently for that?
I'd just like to jump in really quick. This is just me. I'd really like to bootstrap the profit back into the company for as long as we can all bear. But like I said, that's my 2 cents.
Nice. Well, I totally agree with you. Bootstrapping it, I think we can do probably a 5-year push, and be sitting really pretty. And maybe that depends on whenever a downturn might happen. Let's say if it's in 3 years, and then we picked up a lot of properties from years 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, and then on year 5 we were like, wow, we're sitting on a huge amount of growth. That's what I think as well. Just bootstrap us for as long as we can kind of hang tight. But either way, when we get to each like year end, maybe we'll vote on a dividend, and if it looks nice, maybe we'll do that. So we'll just see. All right, here are some financials from last year and some of the gee whiz information that we got to get through. So Fitness Realty was an LLC for the last 3 years, and I didn't realize this, but it was tied to my personal financials. So it was being, I guess, shown to the IRS as portions of my income. And so that kind of screwed up how I was going to pay taxes. I didn't realize it in 2019, and then when I had an accountant that I hired to do 2020s, they were saying, well, now there's all this income, and I was like, well, that's the business income and not my income. And so they...
Hey,
oh, what's
TJ,
up?
sorry to interrupt. Somebody... Oh, never mind. Brandon wanted to join. Somebody got him.
Oh, nice. Okay. Welcome.
Sorry to interrupt.
Or welcome back. Oh, you're good. Yeah. Thanks for getting him in, or whoever did that. Okay. So anyway, like I was saying, as of 2020, it was still an LLC and still pretty much intertwined with my finances, my personal finances. And so I didn't realize that it was that way until now. Obviously, that creates some kind of skittywampus tax filing. And so since we're untying Fitness Realty from my personal finances and making it a C Corp, which did just happen as of last week or the week before that, I think it might have been last week. So since that happened, now it's a C Corporation and it's all on its own. So I'm completely pulling it away from my personal finances. But since last year we did make a lot of money through the business, and then it got tacked on to my personal income, the business has to pay taxes, which we've kept the business from paying taxes because I didn't realize that it was running through my personal income. So this year when I go to file, there's a portion of Fitness Realty's money that will pay for Fitness Realty's growth in taxes. It's probably going to be right around 11 grand, maybe 11 to 15 grand. So just so everybody knows, that's what this year's taxes will look like. If we have a similar year this year to what we did last year, then based on whatever Biden's administration comes up with for corporate tax rates, that's what it'll look like. So we'll have this new 21 or 28% tax on corporate tax. Right now, though, like I said, for 2020, it's being ran through my personal income, which I'm keeping crushed pretty low to make the taxes pretty low. So it's saving the company probably, I don't know, 6 to 15% in taxes. Okay, now I've got that out of the way to talk about taxes. These are this left side, the Fitness Realty operating account. That is the cash account that we're sitting on currently. I printed this like 2 days ago. So there's this much cash. And then this is the Fitness Realty bonus account. And that's the bonus account like everybody on our staff knows. I think Brandon might be the only one that I'll have to clue in. But we have a bonus structure that you guys know about. And that bonus, that's where that money comes from. And so every time we make a sale, a portion of that goes into there. So these are the two cash accounts we're sitting on that are actual Fitness Realty cash and not like trust accounts or anything like that. Okay, over here on the right hand side, you can see we didn't make almost $1 million last year. That it's not like that. We've had to pay out a ton of commission. So you can kind of see this commission block down here. Whoop. Sorry about that. You can see this commission block. We did really well to pay out a lot of commission last year to people on our staff. And so I'm super excited about that. And then we did just have pretty much a lot of expense, not a lot, but we had expenses down here. This rent to landlords, which is another line item that's pretty big. That's from the property management side. And I'm hoping one day I'll have those accounts kind of split out so that we can really just see a profit and loss statement without all this other stuff piggybacked onto it. But I've talked with Brandon in the past about our pretty much ROI, and the company is pretty much doing about a 4 to 5 times expenses in cash return, right? So let's say we were going to pay out 20 grand in expenses. We're making about 100 grand, as you can kind of see down here. 90 grand is a little low because last year we probably did about 100 and 110. And then this is just this statement has a couple of line items that we've had to tweak around, but this was the printout that I did have. Okay, I know I just spit a ton of information at you. Are there any like questions or comments before we just get on to the next slide? Sweet, I'll take that as a no. All right, let's talk about growth. The plans that I have for growth are to continue to grow Fitness Realty as a brokerage firm for one. I may actually start recruiting again. The money that we make from additional realtors is actually pretty substantial. And so if we can continue to drive that market, there may be a room for opportunity to continue to grow the actual sales side, which I've gone back and forth between just being word of mouth, like Zach said, or just trying to pick up more realtors from Stringham, which is the real estate school here. So there's I guess room for talking points on that. So if anybody has any thoughts about that, I'd love to hear it. Sorry, I gotta silence my phone. My dad's trying to call me. Any plan, or not plans, but any thoughts about the growing the brokerage firm side? Any, just give me a feedback if we're still live, I guess.
Yeah, we're still live.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
We're here.
Okay, excellent. So, all right, then let's talk about the next plans. So Brandon and I and my mom and possibly Zach are all familiar with a company called Bridge Turnkey. They're out in Missouri. So they find deals and then they get all the rehab done, and then they sell it to investors like us to actually have a turnkey cash flow property. I envision that being the first one. We have a couple of things or hurdles to get through before we pick one of those up. The first is that we needed to get the company to have credit of its own instead of just piggybacking off my personal credit. And so I've kind of laid the foundation for that. It's this Duns and Bradstreet, which is kind of like a creditor, or not a creditor, but a credit reporting agency for businesses. Experian also reports for credit for businesses, but Duns and Bradstreet is one of the top companies that does that. And so I've laid the foundation to get our number and open up our business on their site so that we can actually start getting some credit reporting through there. So that's kind of the first hurdle. Second hurdle is this Divvy. Divvy, as you guys know, is a growing crediting company or credit extension company, or whatever you want to call it. They're just providing access to business type credit. So Divvy has a card that you don't need any credit history, and we're like just barely getting the green light to have a $2,000 credit card, pretty much. That's a secure credit card because they saw how much money is in our bank account. So it's pretty much like we could run $2,000 in transactions and then pay that $2,000 off. So the things that we'll be paying through there are the access to G Suite, which is the workspace with Google. So you guys all have your emails through there. That costs us about anywhere from $300 to $400, depending on how many profiles we have loaded. That costs us $300 to $400 every month, and so we'll put that on that Divvy card once I actually receive it. And then the second thing that we'll be paying for through there is the .loop access, which is maybe everybody knows, of course, is our e-signature platform. So that costs the company about the same side, about $360 a month. So we'll be running about $700 in charges through Divvy for probably the next 12 months as just a reoccurring, put it on credit, pay it off, put it on credit. Obviously, you guys know how to build credit, so I'm not speaking anything new, but we have to almost essentially start like the company is just turning 18 and needing to get credit. Any questions about growth?
I wish I would have done all this stuff when I was 18.
Yeah, right? I know, you learn this stuff, and then I hope we can pass it on to our kids. Okay, next kind of topic for growth, really quick. I didn't really put it in here, but the company will start looking for opportunities. So if you guys see opportunities that you're like, whoa, this is a slam dunk deal, you know, maybe we'll look at it. Or Ben in our staff right now is a pilot, and so he's really kind of talked about potentially there's money-making avenues with owning aircraft and all sorts of stuff. The crazy part is about growth. We could get a small business loan through the VA up to $5 million, but you can't use it on property, single-family home property. We could potentially do an apartment complex, and so there's room for that. But in my opinion, I love the single-family homes, but to do that, you have to start small scale. You couldn't just go up to $5 million that quick. Okay, so that's growth. Next is just opening it up for questions and comments. If you guys just had any thoughts you want to throw out there to the board. Otherwise, we'll be getting to the closing.
I'm going to ask a foolish question because I think I know the answer to it, but whatever.
Okay.
Is a quadplex, it's not a single-family dwelling, or do they classify it as a single-family dwelling?
Yep, quad's still a single-family dwelling. So it's single-family home, duplex, tri, and quad. All qualifies for FHA or VA financing, and will not qualify for small business loans.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unfortunately. So if we did want to go stepping into anything more than that, then the small business loan does apply. So I've talked about it and kind of tossed it around with my mom about opening up something that would be commercial and then leveraging against that commercial to get single family homes, or condos or whatever we can afford at the time.
Well, how long? So let me ask this stupid question. While the 1031 tax exchange still exists, could we buy an apartment complex, and how long do we have to stay in an apartment complex before we could 1031 it into single family residence?
So it's not that we would lose access to tax protection. It would be we would lose the financing option, moving it to single family. So the way the business loans would work, as soon as we would sell that apartment complex, our loan would come due, and then they wouldn't give us any access to money for single family homes.
So we just have to buy an apartment complex that is worth whatever it is now. I'm snowballing, sorry.
No, you're good.
We buy an apartment complex that's worth something now in an up and coming area.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, like Boise, Idaho, right? Because I think Boise's 3 or 4 years behind Utah, Salt Lake specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on it for 2 or 3 years, and then once the profit margin's enough that we wouldn't necessarily need that loan anymore, we satisfy the loan and take the proceeds and buy single family homes. Maybe.
It's a good thought. The where we would want to be is leveraged a little bit, so we're not getting crushed in yearly taxes. So
Yeah.
there's a sweet spot between 25% leveraged and 50%, or excuse me, 25% down or 50% down. Right in there is like a sweet spot. But yeah, you're right. It would be awesome to get into an apartment complex, and I'll be looking for that because I have a contact here with the SBA that can walk us through getting that type of loan. So there's room for that, of course, and I mean it would be awesome to pick up an 8-door, apartment complex here in Utah or something for like $2 million or $3 million. As long as it's cash flowing, right? So that's the key.
Well, and then I'll be a little foolish right here. And then to burn whatever we need to stay into that tax bracket, we do the mandatory board meeting in the Bahamas.
There you go.
Hey, we've talked about it before for sure. Like a company-wide trip. Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. Hey, we've talked about that to do it not in the Bahamas, but somewhere like in Florida or something where we all think we would want to buy an apartment.
Site survey. Yeah, totally.
Yep. So it'd be one of those like, hey, everybody, we're going to meet out in Hawaii or Tampa Bay or whatever, Orlando. Obviously, I don't want to go anywhere cold, so that'll never happen. All right. Any last follow-up thoughts? Sweet. Well, I know this has been like short, down and dirty, just getting the information out there. But I really do appreciate you guys all for coming, and just love each and every one of you. I'm excited to share this journey with you guys. I'm super grateful for what we've built, and I'm super grateful for all the effort that's been going into it. And so I think that we're building this on such a solid foundation that we'll just have an excellent time continuing to grow and growing at a pace that looks obscene and just crazy fast, but in reality is built behind a solid backbone. So last one on there, just commit to your goals and excel in your life. I know I always, or not always, but I try to really promote to take personal ownership in your own life and really start hammering down your goals, either writing them down and then pursuing those. But if there's an opportunity for me to help you commit to your goals or to pursue those anymore, just let me know. I'm always here, and I really want to push the bar and make sure that we all can rise to that excellence. So without just getting on my soapbox or whatever, you know, I just wanted to say
Well,
thank you.
I just want to say something, TJ. I just want to thank you for all of your hard work, and thank you to everybody that's joined us. I'm excited. I think this is going to go really far, and nationwide is kind of what we're hoping for too. So, Brandon, I'm excited that you might be looking at that in Virginia or wherever you end up. So, anyway, awesome. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Okay, well, until next time, it'll probably be about 3 months from now, or if I stumble upon a crazy good deal, or we're looking to get $5 million from the SBA. Just kidding. Okay, well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks. Have a
guys.
great day.
Thanks, TJ.
Yep, see ya.
Thanks, TJ.